Peace. We are live for Yo Soy Mi Cura series with this episode with my hermana Lindsay Ramirez. So we'll just give her a few moments for her to join us. Bienvenidos. Let me get my little breath blend here while I wait. This is a blend of the respiratory blend thanks to my hermana Tamara with eucalyptus leaf, menta, peppermint, tea tree, lemon, cardamom. Good stuff. Yes, hermana, I see you. Let me invite you. And we're live.
Hey, good to see. Oh my God, look at you with your collar. Okay. You know what? I was like channeling DR when I was getting dressed. I was like, you know what? I am pretending to be in an island. Tengo como un tirito puesto.
What? I love that.
But I'm actually going to go for a run after this. But yeah, I was like, oh, I'm channeling DR because it's just, the weather here is not really DR, but missing it.
Yes, pero todavía no ha llegado a lo que sabemos que va a llegar. So we must take advantage of it.
Yes.
Absolutely, hermana, welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for having me on here. I was like thinking, oh my God, this is the first time I'm doing a live, like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So excited, and thank you for just like,
thanks
you know.
for your trust.
Yeah.
Thanks for your trust.
Yeah, thank you too.
Mi gente, Lindsay and I met at the airport aquí en Santo Domingo. I feel right, Lindsay. I mean, live. It was our first hug.
Yeah.
Our first real live hug was at the airport when I picked you up.
Yeah.
For your retreat with us. So although we had several meetings before that and got to chat and Zoom, you got to meet Miguel and all of that good stuff, but you know, nothing like the hug to, you know, to truly embrace each other's skin, each other's vibe in that way. So and since then, obviamente, ya ustedes saben que mi hermana, you know, these are the kind of relationships that I want to foster, that I want to make time for, because to nourish friendships, it's not new, although we're having so many distractions, probably more so in this generation, but it is not new that friendships must be nurtured, that you have to respond to people's messages. If they don't reach out, you know, and you can't sit back and be like, oh, I haven't heard from this person, they must not need me. No, you reach out, you nurture those relationships. That is what makes lasting friendships. And you are, Lindsay, one person that I will continue to do that, because it's important that this friendship, you know, is in my life for years to come.
Likewise. Oh my goodness. So thank you. I mean, I feel like nothing is a coincidence. So like we were brought together through sort of people that we kind of both knew, and it's like snowballed into this, friendship. And, you know, I was hearing you say like, oh, you know, you have to respond or look for one another. And you're right. But also like, yeah, It's got to be a level of reciprocation, a balance of it, and understanding. Because I think to myself, like, I don't always respond to people like quickly,
Me
and
too, me too.
self-conscious. But there's a level of understanding when it's like, hey, you know, I didn't catching up, and also mentioning that and making sure the other person understands is important. But I've done that with you,
We've
so
done that. We've done that with each other already.
yeah, yes,
See, see,
we are.
see, see. So Lindsay, because these lives are at this time when people are, are usually at work and things like that, muchas personas tend to see the recording. Although we'll see who joins us and engage in this discussion. We usually like to start with some grounding, just like a grounding moment to just center ourselves and welcome the energy of sharing from a place of love, right? That to kind of settle our ego. It doesn't go anywhere. It's with us. It's just kind of like yo lo apaciguo, como me enseñó Miguel que haga con el ego, que no es desaparecer el ego, pero es decirle como que, oh, okay, tú estás bien ahí, just chill with me, but right now, I'm going to express myself from this place of love, from this place of vulnerability. You don't have to, you don't have to be on this flight or stay mode. It's just us, this is how I'm going to move forward. And it helps me to acknowledge that sometimes I can, go into this mode of wanting to, wanting to be reflected by others, or wanting people to accept me and like me. And I see it, sometimes I want to say or act in a certain way. And I'm like, oh no, that may not be proper. That may not be, perceived positively in this way. And then every time that I go into the place of, no, Angie, you are enough, if that came to your mind, it's because it's worth sharing. Whoever needs that message, it will reach them. Trust in yourself. And that doesn't come from ego. That comes from, I think, this vessel of love and understanding and compassionate for myself. So I welcome through this grounding that space of love, of compassion, as we share our journeys. This is our story, and how we've been experiencing it on this earth. So it is not to be right or wrong. It's just it's our reality, and we honor that. Because we're grown and we're badass, and that's like this is at the level that we've been able to reach. We were not always there. I would say for myself, I was not always here, being mindful of these things. But the moment that I got off that imposter syndrome, it's like, oh no, yes, I can have a life. Yes, I can, share this wisdom. I don't have to have a PhD or a DR before my name for it to be worthy, right? And it's just been magical to share from this space, Hermana. So long speech to say, let's breathe together. So
thank you for sharing that. Oh my God, sorry, because
yeah.
I was so relieved. Like, oh my God, yes, yeah, I agree. I'm going through that right now, but yes, so badass. Okay, so anyway, thank you.
Yes, como aquí el live, como que la gente dice, ay no beban agua, no se paren, no vayan al baño, no, no vivan porque tú estás en un live. Pero es como que no, somos humanas, somos amor, toma tiempo y toma como esa energía, estar aquí para hablar, para escuchar a las personas. Peace, Ana José, for joining us a este intercambio. Así que it's just awesome. And to do it with people that you love and respect, and that love you and respect you, is just woo. What a relief.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's take a 4 deep breath. Aquí juntas. If you're not congested through your nose, see if those breaths can come in and out of your nose. 2 more. And we're back with Lindsay Ramirez. I am Angie Espinal, here from Casa Bienestar, with the Yo Soy Mi Cura series, which is about sharing the ways in which we are healing and we have healed through, could be physical, could be emotional, could be mental, could be spiritual, could be a combination of those things, from this attitude that that we have the information to tap into already. It's already within us. So we are channeling that and taking moments of quiet to listen to ourselves and say, pero yo me curé de esa vaina. Let me not pretend que yo no me curé. And even if sometimes we go, we can see ourselves going into places that we know could even be harmful sometimes, particularly to our soul, that because we have already acknowledged that we know this information, we can manage those setbacks, so-called setbacks or so-called lessons that we need to still learn more from. We can tap into that, and it's never going to be like the first time around. It's never going to be that is already elevated. So Casa Bienestar is located in Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, and we began this discussion because we are ready for expansion. We got our own piece of raw land, and we are moving our tiny home and these spaces that we are creating to our own land, to for our community, really for our community. And so that is how these discussions began. So if you want to learn more about who we are, please watch our new video that is in our profile link, and check out our gift shop. We have all kinds of goodies, from Palo Santo to tarot readings to chakras to the 3-day Yo Soy Mi Cura retreat, which Lindsay enjoyed with us. And so yeah, thank you. I would love, Lindsay, to get us started. If you can share about you, more about you and your journey, whatever feels right for people, just to put it into context of where you're speaking from, the vessel that you're speaking now versus where you came from.
Okay. So I guess my healing journey. I thought your first question was my cura, like jumping right into it. But I guess
let's do it. If you want to do that, I'm down.
well, we could, but then I'm like, would make sense to say how it started. And so like I'm Dominican American. I was born here, but Dominican parents, and from Rhode Island. And I have a bunch of brothers, 5 brothers. I'm one of 6, and like quickly like realized that I needed to do something outside of Rhode Island and outside of just being home and doing like domestic things. So went to college in New York City and worked in corporate for many years while I also went to school and stuff. And in New York City, I was able to really like test out who I was, like for real, because I felt like in Rhode Island, it's small, and I was afraid to really be myself because I was afraid of judgment from family, from like, people who have seen me grow up and and having gay thoughts and all these things, and not wanting to act on anything because I was just too afraid. But yeah, New York came, and I like explored all the things. Yeah, and then like the corporate then became a thing where I'm like, this is so like I can't. This is not good for my soul. It's something is not adding up. So I had a bunch of relationships and a bunch of heartbreak, and I got to a point where I'm like, I don't have anything else really holding me here. Like I can leave and no one's really, my family's gonna miss me and stuff, but like I don't have anything else holding me back. Like, you know, some people have a marriage or kids they have to attend to. I'm like, I can just like a bird leave. So that made me think, like, let me travel somewhere. I need to go somewhere far. I need to like just kind of see like who I am without this title, without the stuff that people know me. I don't know, rediscover myself again. And so, but also like full of like heartbreak, and like just kind of sad. I guess it was like a eat, pray, love thing. And so became a
Yeah.
teacher. I booked a one-way to Thailand, ended up getting a job inside of a university, and it was a language center, working for the Thai family. So anyway, that started the journey of like travel, and then I spent, it was supposed to be just a year in Asia, and it ended up being almost 5, where I spent almost 3 in Thailand, and then some time in Japan, and then in Barcelona and stuff, and I met so many people along the way, and so my healing journey also, I've always thought like astrology and things like that. I grew up as Catholic. I'm Dominican. My mom, la comunión, vamos, da, da." So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so church on, you know, those big Easter, the big holidays and stuff. Like there's no seats if you get there late, type thing. So for some reason on my journey of travels and all this other stuff, I kept meeting people who were like astrologers, who did tarot readings, who, you know, and so that was always like, no, eso es del demonio, this and that. But as
Oh
I
yeah.
met people in my travels, I'm like, these aren't bad people. And then ended up becoming best friends with an astrologer, and she's certified, and she kind of uses me as a guinea pig. Lois, shout out to you. She's in Kenya right now in a
What?
month. So I guess, yeah, my healing journey has also come through experiences, through also now friends who are really spiritual. A friend who's a santera gifted me a tarot deck, and I'm like, what do I do with this? And so I just started like experimenting. It's got instructions, and so yeah, it's just been a lot of trial and error. So the same friend who was the astrologer invited me to Ecuador to do an ayahuasca retreat. And I was like, what the hell is this stuff? Like, so, but I'm always up for adventure, and I've got a very open mind. And that was a really interesting experience, you know, alternate states of consciousness. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So that's where I'm at, or how the journey has been, trial and error. And now I'm back in Rhode Island. I didn't expect this to happen, but some family stuff came about, and personal things happened, and so now I'm back. But like everything is much more meaningful. There's like this saying where it's like when you're cooking like a pancake or something like that, and then it lands on the pan and then it grows, and it's because it's like now it's where it's supposed to be, and now it's grown. Never mind.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's the healing, I guess, journey that I enough to mention that would make sense.
yes.
And then
Yes, I love not love it to say that I'm glad that it happened that way, but I've seen a connection to this, to removing yourself from the place that you're in order to find yourself. And I guess it makes sense, but I did not know that so many people that I knew, that's how, that's how it happened. So you mentioned, being from starting your traveling journey, right, from this place of sadness, feeling sort of depleted, and then going, removing yourself, probably putting yourself in a completely you know, just uncomfort zone, and then finding comfort in all of this newness of your life. This is something that has been consistently being shared with people. I needed to leave. I needed to remove myself from it all, and then to find myself. Do you find that that was, well, now that you're back and you're in this other space, it probably has come full circle to you. You know for a fact you needed to leave in order to find yourself.
Definitely. It's like still one of the highlights of my 34 years of life. It's like those are the experiences that have really like shaped how I look at life, and it's also like proved to me a lot of things. Like we can really do anything. You know, and just because you travel, you don't really know, or people tell you, oh yeah, I've traveled and I've done, you don't really know the extent or how, or there's so many things that happen when you travel, and especially when you're so far, that like you experience being solitude in a different way.
You experience being what?
You experience solitude like in a different,
yes.
Because like, you know, I guess in certain places I didn't know the language. I didn't have any friends. I really, I guess, you know, figuring a lot of things out, but it was also so exciting to like go to the grocery store, to do everything all over again. I think what it was too that I need, that a lot of people seek that or do that for, is getting away from noise, from the noise of opinions from people, you know, or like you should do this, or the fucking article you read, or something that's discouraging you, or just getting away from all of those things. And I know that like sometimes it bothered me that I didn't speak the language, or like, you know, I really couldn't speak Japanese well enough to understand what the fuck was going on, or Thai.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was nice. It was just noise. Shit, people were talking on the trip, looking at me and talking. I don't know what the fuck you saying. I don't care. It's just noise.
Yes.
And really, I'm like, maybe this is all trained, because it was an experience where I'm like, people fucking staring at me. I
love that.
But for some reason, I also like deep down was like, this is preparing for some other shit. Because really, when I go back home, people are talking and I don't really know what it's about, or it could be about me, or like, it's really just noise too. It should be. And people will stare at me, but maybe I'm interesting to look at. And like, just, it was a rewiring.
Yes.
That's what people seek when they go so far out and reset.
You are definitely interesting to look at. That is so beautiful, because so often through my work with diversity and inclusion back in the States, it was people saying, you know, oh, they looking at me, they probably talking about me, particularly when there will be Spanish speakers in the back of the house in the restaurant, and there will be managers that don't know whether, and being really frustrated about, you know, they were talking about a football game. They didn't think that you wanted to know about that.
Yeah.
But you're like, you know, really taking it to her. They talking about me. I don't like that. Yeah, you are here, and in Asia, just far. Like, that is especially important. It does depend how far you go and how foreign, you know, your surroundings are. And you just, I'm sure people were looking at you, probably wanting to touch your hair, probably wanting to do all kinds of things. And you're just like, that's just noise. And connecting it back to exactly what happens even in your surroundings. People are just, you know, they are talking, whether they're talking about you or not. It is noise. It is noise. If people are not taking the time to make sure that you understand, then move forward.
Yeah. And then what does it even matter?
That's so wise.
Yeah, it's like we get so hung up about a little comment, or some maybe asshole saying something about something. It's like, this person, maybe they have mental issues. Maybe they like, and so I guess all those experiences, I guess like traveling and all these other things, it's cool to see, you know, it's exotic too, because it's like, it's shit that I don't see every day normally, or what I normally grew up around. But it's also like the same in a deeper sense. You know, the gossip or this or that, or people just shooting the shit, or like, you know, trying to get to work, the hustle, qué sé yo.
Sí,
It's like the same in different themes.
sí.
So
Sí,
yeah.
pero el no tomártelo personal, you know,
Yeah.
allow you to find, even perhaps find beauty in it, as I hear you, as I
Mm-hmm.
hear you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then yeah, like what's the worst that can happen if you're taking up space in certain ways, or just expressing this yourself vulnerably, like you were saying before? What's the worst that can happen? A lot of the times, not much. Maybe if you're being kind and yourself, it's usually fine.
Which goes back to, you know, ese theme de yo soy mi cura, porque once you're comfortable that you know you're kind, that you know you're a good person, that you know that your default is to want to be helpful and to want to contribute in a positive way. I think that, at least for me, it has softened, you know, the critic in my head that would not allow me to speak up my mind, to, because I'm just scared I'm going to drop the F-bomb in the middle of the you know, of this table, and these people are Christian and they're going to look at me sideways. I may lose some relationships with my mom, with, you know, with the pastor that comes in like randomly inside the house, like it's his house, all of these things. And, you know, mejor me quedo callada, just to not to mess it up. But to this, you know, but as I grew older, and all the expectations I think that people may have of me, or what a badass means. Sometimes it means that you drop, you know, that you say the N-word, that you say you know, that you use slang in a way to kind of like amplify how tough you are. But I realized that's not me. That my default it tends to be more I'm not sure if it's the word proper, but it is on this, you know, of using words that I like, you know, words that I like when people say to me. So I'm usually, you know, mostly looking at people like, ay Dios mío, qué linda tu estás, como que a mí you know, me encanta, you know, I go into, my default is to admire you right away, right? And it's a reflection of, I think, of just allowing myself to do that. Tú no sabes esto, Lindsay, pero yo me acuerdo estando en CCRI, cuando yo estaba aprendiendo a hablar inglés, because that's where I did all my ESL classes before I moved on to the grown-up classes, you know, that they were all in English. And there was this, and I wanted to be friends. I mean, yo estaba ahí, no tenía amigos, no tenía, you know, mi familia estaba aquí. And that was, again, my default. Cuando yo veía una chica, you know, ay, qué linda tú estás. Oh my God, your hair is just so flawless. Y yo era you know, I was the undercover lesbian. Yo no sabía esto.
Oh,
Pero muchas
people thought
chicas,
that?
muchas chicas después me dijeron que una de las razones porque no querían acercarse o no veían ponían la barrera de ser mi amiga era because they thought that I was trying to get with them, you know, and they were straight.
That's so annoying, though. You don't want those friends, though.
I just projected this energy that to them felt like, you know, felt foreign, or, you know, they were not used to the dynamic. Y entonces that made me, you know, recogerme and just be like, no, keep your distance, you know, all of these things. But to go back to, you know, to my point is, cuando estamos cómodos de ser quienes somos, entonces ya es más fácil. Ya es más fácil, como que, you know, just to flow with it and not need, you know, not know that you're not going to say the wrong thing, because you are coming from your source, and your source is correct, is you, and you are worthy, and you are good enough. And I'm going to repeat my, you know, my first line, pero eso es tan poderoso, and it, you know, is being it's been one of the highlights of my healing personally. So me and you are totally aligned with that. So let's go into tu cura, por favor, Lindsay.
Okay.
We've been highlighting some things. So ¿cuál es la cura out of the several ones that you probably experienced that you would like to share with the group today and with me?
Okay, so I still had a little bit of trouble deciding on one thing because we discussed this in person and I was like, oh, this is okay. So it's a combination of like physical and mental.
Awesome.
Physical mainly would be breathing, mi cura, just being able to take a moment and breathe, and the Neti Pot has really helped with that. And then mental, like I was thinking about it this morning and I'm like, no, I got to change my answer because I was like bullet pointing what I was going to say for each thing and letting go kept coming up. Like letting go is my cura too. Like just fucking letting go of how the outcome I want to, like how I want things to go or how I think it should go, or like getting frustrated that it's not as perfect as I want it to be. A lot of the certain things, letting go is mi cura, is one of, so it's a combination of breathing and letting go.
¿Y qué cura esa cura? What has that cura cured for you? Bueno, let's start with the breathing. Why was that a thing? What was happening with your breath?
Well, I have a history of stuff with my nose. Like since I was little, I had a lot of nosebleeds to the point that they had to call the ambulance several times because my nose would just keep breathing, and then I had I couldn't blow too hard because then it would bleed again, and so I was like, I had a lot of sinus issues and allergy stuff going on, and it's gotten better, but I think that had to do with some like migraines that I also was getting a lot of, and they were so painful. But not having enough airflow was just like, so the Neti Pot has been so helpful. And then the exercise.
What's the Neti Pot? Do you have it near? Do I have one?
I have it.
Let me see if I have mine. Está en el baño. If you want me to get it, I'll go get it. But
I'll go get mine.
In case yours is closer, so that we can give people a picture of what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I do this once a day. If I'm like really stuffed or I feel like I need to clear up more, I do it twice, like evening. But usually in the morning I do it, and it's really helped me. I haven't gotten as much headaches. Like I can breathe more, and I don't know. It really helps with everything. I'm a runner. I'm really active in all this stuff. So having an airflow helps just with every other thing. And letting go.
Well, you were about to tell me about, I think your
oh yeah. So this is
you check your size of your nose. Tell me about that.
You taught me that. So I usually test how clear I am, because I sometimes think like I'm so used to being stuffy that like one nostril and I'm like, oh yeah, I can breathe. And like actually I'm stuffed on one side and I'm just used to it. So that when you taught me how to, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually stuffy on one side, and it helps me determine how, if I still have, if I'm backed up. So it's been a good little test measurement. And I also use that, like you mentioned, with essential oils. Like I mean, I feel like a lot of this stuff is like, oh, this is like hippy dippy or woo woo sometimes. But then I come back to it, I'm like, oh shit, this works. This smells good. This peppermint lavender. I should get it. So I do it. So that's, yeah. So
yo lo hice antes de live. Yes, Lindsay.
Yeah. So that.
I'm excited that you connected with that, and it's not that it's it's a commitment. I mean, let's be clear about that. Como que a veces también se hace sentir, oh, las cosas que son natural medicine son más fáciles, but you have been practicing to get, you know, to get the Neti Pot
Yeah.
to actually do what it does.
Yeah, and it's still not perfect, but it's, even if it's uncomfortable, it's like so worth it afterwards, just because like I feel the release of stuff.
Yeah.
Gunk.
Yes. And that Neti Pot that she has, really, I literally got it in Amazon, y'all. It's not like yo tengo un special stash de una cosa. If you want, you know, if you want to do it ethically from a different place, they have those. Uno lo pone, yes, thank you, Lindsay, yes, with the iodine, salt, and it's just beautiful. It has transformed, as well as this, you know, I echo what Lindsay said about the allergies. It has really transformed the way I'm just more conscious about the oxygen that's coming in through my nose, and knowing through, you know, being a yogi, that the nose is perfectly designed for breathing, not, you know, not the mouth. Although as an athlete, I know that you use, you know, breath through your mouth sometimes, you know, just cuando uno necesita coger más aire, más, you know, más rápido. Pero la nariz, you know, through like the hairs that are here, designed so that, you know, there's toxins and dust that doesn't go into our bodies, from the temperature, making sure that, you know, it travels enough through this space so that by the time it gets inside, it's at the same temperature as it is inside. Ayurveda particularly is really, it's really key on, you know, on not drinking cold things or putting cold things inside, porque adentro el cuerpo, you know, wants to be at the temperature and more of that warm temperature. Y como que, yes, if my nose is clogged up, then, you know, then that's not happening. So yes, I've been really happy, really excited. That was like the one thing, and you never know like what people are going to connect with. But I was like, oh, maybe the Neti Pot. And you were like, boom, like right away, doing the Neti Pot on a daily over here at the retreat. That was so dope. I was so happy about that. I'm still happy about that.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Because I'm like, I can breathe. So, and it really, like, I mean, you were saying you're not at a point of swearing and you saying the F word. And as you were saying that, oh my God. But I say it because it's like sometimes I'm at a point where this is how I accurately sometimes express myself. But it really does F everything up if you don't breathe. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like my eyes and everything else. So.
It does. It can. Yes, Lindsay. Eso es, you know, eso es algo como muy personal, el que uno no, you know, aprenda como que es lo que uno se siente cómodo. And I share that because sometimes I would say these words to pretend that I was like, you know, like I'm just this tough girl, like I'm just gonna fuck this, you know, and I would do the neck thing and the hand and you know, and the whole thing. And you know, it was a while until I'm like, oh, okay, I'm this other more mellow person. I love speaking a little bit slower. Why was I trying to do something different? So, yes. That's what I meant on that.
Oh my gosh. And it makes me think actually, like the biggest, you know, you think about those movies and the gangsters or whatever, or the Godfather. The one that really can F you up or the calm, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can be a quiet. Anyway, so that's
I will actually share a story about that. When I was in Cuba, I wanted to get this tattoo all, you know, my whole back. It was going to be this epic thing. And I went to see a shaman and he said to me, oh, you're going to mark your body. And I was like, I haven't even told this person that I'm going to do that. And he was like, you shouldn't do that. So he said, you shouldn't do that. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Basically is what he let me what he shared when he said, "Do you see me? I don't have any tattoos, and I can literally from where I'm sitting end somebody's life." And I was like, okay, like, you know, he was telling me that he was powerful and that he should in that he was a force to be reckoned with, and he could do all of that, and he didn't have one single tattoo in his body. And he read my mind. And I don't know in the moment, you know, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a tattoo because I want to be, you know, I want to be perceived. But in retrospect, now, you know, I think about it. Why did I wanted to do this? And it's, I think, because I wanted to showcase, you know, somehow this visions, what it was, the words, what it was, you know, the physical components, whether it is with hair, whether it's with clothes, you know, showcasing toughness, showcasing resilience, showcasing a woman of the world, you know, all of these things that needed to be, you know, needed to have a physical manifestation. So yeah, Lindsay, it's been quite the road to get to this comfort zone of being Angie and being okay with what, oh, you know, who Angie is. And I don't know if any of that, if you connect with any of that at all.
For sure, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, you were talking about the tattoo and really needing it and why you did it and stuff. And I'm like, I have a huge tattoo. And when people look at it, people stare at my tattoo. I love my tattoo, but
so beautiful.
Thank you. But at the same time, you know, I tell people really think about it before you get it, because when I did the ayahuasca retreat, the spirits, the shaman came to me and he said, your tattoo, spirit said it's disgusting. They don't like it, hate it. And for some reason, you know, I guess some people would determine or like, oh, what the fuck? But I was just like, word, okay. But then he said the spirits still love you, or something. He said that they still love me despite my ignorance, and you know, and then I understood it. Like I kind of like quickly, there's like a deep inner knowing that we all have, and I'm like, oh, it's like my mom who, you know, she loves me and she just thinks I'm perfect the way I don't need anything, and technically I don't. And you know what? When you don't have tattoos, tú puedes disimular más. You can kind of blend in more and be like a motherfucking ninja. You have a tattoo, now I'm like, oh, that's the girl with the snake tattoo. Like, I'm, you know, sometimes I'm like, now I'm kind of seen a little more than I was before, and you know that comes with things too.
Yeah.
I have no regrets, but like that's something that people aren't, you know, always thinking of. And years, and I also kind of admit that I did shit out of, I do a lot of things out of, before even my tattoo, out of rebellion. Like, you know, I'm gonna get a tattoo and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna show everybody that I can still make money, and you know, that kind of thing. But I don't have to do that. You don't need to prove anything to anybody, kind of thing. So,
yeah,
sorry.
But you did, right?
But I still did.
You
yes.
proved that. You proved that. And as a director, as a person that, you know, that is seen in this leadership light constantly, right? You're coming in the room, and you know, and some people may look at, you know, may see you coming in the room and be like, oh, somebody who's going to watch the person who's going to speak. And then they see you walking on stage and they know that, oh, I'm here to actually see this person speak. It's just, it's a dope moment. I really like that. I really like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
We both here saying changing the status quo, because it's like, as director of the Women's Business Center, I have to wear a diplomatic hat. I have to wear the hat where I'm like Lindsay, entrepreneur myself. I have to wear the hat of like directing, and switching sometimes is like, I want to be myself. And anyway, so, but yeah, like, I'm over here talking, what do I know? Like, but then it's like, what do they know? Like, we are, anyway, so.
Exactly. Lindsay, aquí en Instagram nos dan el boo a 1 hora. So tenemos todavía 15 minutos. Quiero usar ese tiempo para que me diga de esa otra cura que tú querías explorar hoy.
Oh, I said letting go.
Yes.
Was that?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's just like how the cura, or how do I do that cura? Just be
Sí.
like taking things as they come, and being more mindful, because I have a habit of internalizing a lot of things. Like, I will have a conversation with someone, and like I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, shit, I could have said, and it was so dumb. They probably think that I'm like an idiot, or like, you know, someone was not, like, they crossed a boundary with me, or they did something that I was not okay with, and then I'm days later, yo me levanto, I'm like, that mother, and it's this, and so letting go, like, wait a minute, I'm getting all worked up over this thing, like this person doesn't even know me, like they don't know my middle name, they don't, like, they're not contributing to anything, like, why am I so hung up on this thing? And so it's a process of like, Lindsay, just focus on what you got in front of you, just chill. And also, I'm maybe the Virgo in me, I'm a Virgo rising, Virgo sun, I'm like a triple Virgo, que sé yo. And so I value quality and like things a certain way. Oh shit! Look at me. But I meant, like, you know, there's also a certain standard that I have letting go if it's not the way I want it to be. Just, it's still a practice.
So
And
it's
like,
like, so I'm hearing own conversation that you're having with yourself consciously. So so this thought is coming in your head, and you're stopping the thought, and these conversations are having in your head, or do you ever find yourself actually saying, you know, talking to yourself out loud?
sometimes I'll talk to myself out loud, but I think it's also had to do with this book that I've recently been reading called The Untethered Soul. And it says the voice in your head, just, it tells you to picture it as you, or as an actual person that is just talking. So it's like another opinion. And there was also another thing in that book that said, you're looking at like a cat or something, and so you're not the cat. And it's just like that when you're looking in the mirror. You were looking at yourself in the mirror when you were 10 years old, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror now, let's say at 30 something years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that body, you're the thing that's looking. And I'm like, I'm over here hung up on a little pimple, que say yo, but we're on a globe spinning, like, we don't know if a meteor is gonna hit, like, just putting things into perspective. And
Yes.
like, I don't know, does that even make sense? Like,
Yes.
so,
Yes, everything that you're saying is making sense. I'm taking notes to make sure that I capture it for the comments. But I oh my God, the fact that, you know, muchas de las meditaciones que yo hago is kind of like getting you to be the witness of yourself, right? And it takes some time to understand, you know, I am not these thoughts, I am not my mind. Just that alone switch it up for me. Pero me interesa mucho saber how you get there, because letting go is something that we can all get better at, Lindsay, like tuvo el mondazo. How do you actually get to, you know, what, and if you feel it physically, emotionally, the release of that happening?
so because I'm a physical person, and I'm, you know, we're all complex. And letting go for me is like I have to combine it with something like joy. And I recently learned about something called the dopamine menu, where you create a menu. I don't know if you've heard of this.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's really cool. You just have a menu of things that you can revert back to that give you joy, and they can be like eating a little piece of chocolate, listening to this playlist, or drinking kombucha, qué sé yo, or going for. And so for me, letting go means doing something I enjoy, because I also have a past of I can fucking, not fucking, sorry. I can drink and smoke and really have numb myself out in other ways. And so, and that for me is like, you know, I'm having a bunch of fun, but that's not also like really resolving the issue. So
Yeah.
lately I've been pairing things like running. And so I want to let go of this thing I'm frustrated about. You know what? Let me freaking go for a run. And today I'm going to make it a longer run, or I'm going to take the long route because I need to just think through this thing. And then by
Yeah.
the end of the run, I'm relaxed. I'm like, this thing is not even that serious. And so I'm like pairing, and that's kind of what I do. Or it's like, you know what, let me have a glass of, or make myself a cup of hot cocoa. I love hot chocolate, even if it's summer. And so I'll drink that while I'm sitting in a corner of my place that I like, and just pairing things, and just, you know, that's how I let go. It helps to do that, not just the mental rewiring. I'm pairing it with something that kind of gives me some joy.
Absolutely. Exercise is the key to heal our mind and body. Yes, yes, Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna go for a run after this. This is, and you're going to find things to let go of, Lindsay. It's so important, that whole thing of the dopamine menu, though, to know what your go-tos are so that you don't have to just stay in your head.
Mhm.
And I'm also feeling like the letting go is not an inactive sense of, oh, I just decided that I'm gonna let go. No, it becomes action, because as you're making that mental note, then you are going to go actually do that thing that allows you to let go. So it's not enough to just to say it. And I don't know that is where to aspire to. De que, oh, yo voy a estar en un mode ahora que yo voy a poder, cuando yo digo, when I say I let it go, it just disappears. And there may be things that you find yourself that you're able to do that with already. But most of the time, when we are at that space of wanting to let go, it requires us to actually do something about it.
Yeah. I like what you said about the action part, because it's like, it reminded me, Jessica, I hope you go for a run. P.S. Maybe I'll see you if you're in Providence, because I'm about to go for a run after this. But circling back to action, uh, parent, like, it reminds me of, like, okay, with my director job stuff, there's emails that I'm just like, ugh, I have to fucking do all this. I have to think about what I'm going to say. Let me get a kombucha, que a mí me encanta la kombucha. All right, letting go of this feeling of like, I can drink this kombucha and do this email, and you know what? Let me, ChatGPT can help me, and then I can copy and paste and then make it myself, and like it'll be easier. And then letting go of like needing it to be also joyful as I want it to be. Just letting go of like, I'm sorry, I'm circling.
That's another point there. Yes.
Yeah, and then like just, yeah, action plus anyways, you get what I'm saying.
It's sort of like an expectation too that you have to manage there, because you said the word joy, but sometimes in the moment that you need to let go of, it's not good. You're not able to tap into that, a very joyous, like, full-blown lights and happiness, because you have this thing in front of you that you have to do and you have to get to, and it's time sensitive. Right? So
Yeah.
getting yourself out of that fog to do the very best that you can with what, the resources and the energy that you have right there, and let go of that, as you let it go of to get there, letting go of the expectations of that too, so that when you hit send, you're not out there now stressing about, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, right? Because we're like second guessing, because we were already on this stage. So it can have so many layers, but hopefully, because you know that you have this dopamine menu, which I need to look into afterwards, to even, you know, just find you know, the way to ground yourself at one moment, Lindsay, because what I wouldn't want, what I would want to avoid getting into is getting into a mode that you're, you know, that you're just finding, you know, finding things all day long to just get by, right? To just be able to manage all of these things that you're not necessarily in alignment with, or that cause you anxiety, or that cause you, you know, to want to not be present. And then there is just tons of cope mechanisms. Oh, I just go to this, you know, y tú estás como en ese puede ser otro robotic mode, that, you know, you just like switch from one thing to another thing because this one has a more zen list than this other one that you were just, you know, on autopilot. But it is, you know, it just has a negative, you know, it just keeps you in this cycle of negative thoughts. So es como que at one point uno tiene que, you know, get back into yourself and just check in with yourself and be like, okay, I was able to manage, you know, letting go of these things. I'm good, you know, I'm good. This is a good place that I found myself. It's so important to do that, and not, you know, and be compassionate is probably what I will also add to that in that process. Self-compassion, like I find myself sometimes that it will be easier for me to be nice to people that I didn't know, to the people that, you know, that were like in my immediate inner circle, never mind my own family. And then I was like, why am I giving all this, you know, all this grace to other people? No, let me bring the compassion over here to the people that are closest to me. And then the moment that I did that, you know, I was able to see that these people have been having so much compassion for myself, and that, you know, and that gave me, you know, and that allowed me to operate from that place of joy. And I know the word joy is a strong word in your life. And it's something that I honestly feel that Providence, you know, the women that you are, you know, that you are fighting for, that you are advocating for, you know, I really hope that they see that they see that you are this like vessel of joy, because through everything that you're doing and that you're going to continue to do for Providence, you know, I just you're just so wonderful. You're just so wonderful. I literally just wish that we were closer and we could share on that joy, because every moment that I was with you, that I spent time with you, and even in the moments that we had tough conversations about pain and about loss and about, you know, people that were just not as honest, I just felt like you were vibrating, you know, you were vibrating from this place of joy. And I hope that you continue to see that even in the moments that it feels like, you know, we scattered and there's just so much to do, that you are joy, Lindsay. Like your whole being, you know, is already that. And you allow yourself to do that anytime that you want to.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. You have so much wisdom. And I'm so glad that we met and that we, you know, got to know each other and stuff. And especially like at the wellness retreat, and that one-on-one time with you was great, just to talk things out. And
Please,
you know what?
if we have like 2 more minutes, can you take a moment to
Yeah.
invite people to that retreat? Why did you think people should do it?
Oh my gosh. If you, I think people should do it just to learn more about your own self, and to experience vacation in a different way. Just because, yeah, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're dancing, you can have an awesome vacation, but also be mindful. And I love that you taught me things that I am applying every day, and it was so easy, things that are small and easy and don't cost anything. So I'm having a vacation. I'm having an amazing experience. I'm like learning things as I go. I'm talking to you. Like it was also such a custom itinerary that it felt perfect for what I needed. The horseback riding, the massages, the combination of swimming too, and water. I just think that like if you want a more deeper vacation, and you want to learn about yourself and the land, to stay with you for a couple days. Casa Bienestar.
Gracias, hermana. Gracias, hermana.
Thank
Gracias.
you for your time.
Gracias por este tiempo.
Really enjoyed this. I know we're like 12,
Yeah,
11, so it's
I know it can happen any moment.
oh,
So,
okay.
you know, gracias. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for this time. And if there's any departing words, this is the moment.
Okay. Well, I wish everyone a beautiful healing journey. And if you have any questions in Rhode Island about like starting a business, growing a business, you have anything to do with entrepreneurship, hit me up here on IG or at Center for Women in Enterprise. There's only one business center, so come and find me if you need anything. And yeah, I wish you well on your healing journey, whoever's hearing this. And please visit Angie in DR. It's not going to be the same if you go to DR and don't go to Casa Bienestar. It's just, you got to go there and then treat yourself to other things, but like treat yourself to this and your wellness and healing first, and then do the resort thing and everything else that's over there, because you can get the best of both worlds.
Yes. Couldn't say it better myself, hermana. Gracias. Te quiero mucho.
Igual.
Enjoy your run.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.